So I said in a YouTube community post that I would make a video about this because I honestly wasn't even aware that this had happened, but Zach had informed me. And that is that Leslie Van Houten, who was a member of the Manson cult and who participated in the second night of killings, the killings of Rosemary and Lino LaBianca, was released on parole last month. Apparently, California Governor Gavin Newsom attempted to block it, but the California Supreme Court overruled it and ruled in her favor to give her parole, and Gavin Newsom decided that he wasn't going to get in the way of it, so he helped in giving her parole. So now Leslie Van Houten is out and free. And, I'm sure that I'm going to get people in my comment section lecturing me about rehabilitation and how the crime was a long time ago and she was a different person then, and she was so young, and now she's not the same person anymore, and we need to let it go. We need to just forget about it and whatnot. Here's the thing. For me personally, it's not about rehabilitation, all right? If she truly has been rehabilitated, then that's cool. That's great. That's a good prison system. That's what we would want. For them to, actually feel sorrow, like genuine sorrow for the crime that they committed, and be able to actually be capable of self-reflection and stuff. But that's not what it's about. Okay? If someone murders someone else in cold blood, takes away their life against that person's will, prematurely ends their life just because, for no good reason at all. Not that there is a good reason for, first-degree murder or second-degree murder in the first place, but, you get what I'm saying. If you just murder someone in cold blood, to me, there is no good reason to ever get out of prison. There shouldn't even be parole as an option. I don't even know why we have parole as an option when it comes to those types of crimes. I really don't. It's the same thing with, pedophiles and child molesters who molest children and rape children. We put them in prison, then we declare them rehabilitated and better after a certain time, and then we let them go. And then they go out and they fucking do it again. It happens all the time. But yet, assholes, I'm trying not to name call too much, but people insist that, in some cases we need to be humane and we need to show them humanity and we need to show them mercy and stuff because it's the humane thing to do. But what kind of humanity did people like that ever show their victims? They showed their victims no humanity. I can accept not, having the death penalty. I can accept locking those people up in prison for the rest of their life. It may come out of our tax dollars, but you know what? That's one thing that I'm fine with my tax dollars going towards. Keep these fuckers locked up. I don't give a fuck. Good. Is it inhumane? Is it inhumane for us to actually punish people for killing people, other people? Is it inhumane to keep them locked up for the rest of their life as a consequence of their actions? But whatever. So Leslie Van Houten, like I said, she was involved, not in the first night of killing. She wasn't actually involved with the Sharon Tate, Abigail Folger, Stephen Parent, and the murder of all those people. Not on the first night. The first night it was Tex Watson, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Susan Atkins. The second night was the night that involved Leslie Van Houten. She went in again with Patricia Krenwinkel, not again, but Patricia Krenwinkel and Tex Watson went both nights. They went again. Leslie Van Houten went with them the second night, which was her, the first time she was going. And they broke into the house of Lino and Rosemary LaBianca, where they were savagely, brutally murdered. Leslie Van Houten and Patricia Krenwinkel held Rosemary LaBianca down in her bed as Tex Watson stabbed Lena LaBianca to death. And then after Lena was dead, they put a pillow over Rosemary LaBianca's head, face, and proceeded to stab her over and over and over again. And I believe it was Tex who did the stabbing, if I remember correctly, but Leslie Van Houten was told to, Tex Watson gave her the knife and told her to, participate, and she did. She apparently stabbed Rosemary LaBianca about 14 times, possibly more, and they mutilated her body. And then after they committed these crimes, they raided the LaBianca's refrigerator. And it's been detailed about what they actually grabbed. They grabbed chocolate milk and cheese from the fridge and proceeded to eat and drink while Tex Watson took a shower in the LaBianca's, bathroom. And then they went out in the bushes and waited for Tex Watson to come back. So that's what Leslie Van Houten was involved in. And let me just say, you can find videos of some of her parole hearings on YouTube. And let me just tell you, I don't believe for a goddamn second that Leslie Van Houten truly felt sorry for what she did. Because if you look at her parole hearings, all it is woe is me. I was 19, 20 years old when I committed these crimes. It was 30 years ago. No one is the same person that they were at 19, 20 years old. I have family outside of this place, and it was woe is me. It was her feeling sorry for herself, not feeling sorry for what she participated in. Just look up any parole hearing. It's the same way with all of these, with all of them. Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, Tex Watson, every one of them. I think the only one that didn't shrink away from what he did and what he actually believed was Charles Manson, and that's it. The rest of them would always put on an act. Tex and Susan in particular claiming that they were born-again Christians, that they had found God and stuff, which is whatever. A lot of people find God in prison. But yeah, just go look up Leslie's parole hearings. It's poor me, poor me, poor me. It's a big pity party. And after her parole had been rejected for the 13th time, which again, I don't even know why we give these fuckers parole in the first place. It should have been life in prison without the possibility of parole. They also had initially gotten the death sentence, but the death sentence was overturned in California, so they did not get the death sentence. They got the opportunity to live a full life, which is something their victims never got. So they got to live a full life in prison, which, I don't know what the conditions are like in the prisons that they were in, but I mean, it's, some of the prisons that we have, I mean, it's almost better to be in prison than to be, say, homeless or like struggling in, being in poverty. So it wouldn't surprise me if the prisons that they were in were really nice and stuff, but that's a whole other subject. But after her parole had been rejected for the 13th time, she proceeded to take legal action. Yeah, she didn't accept that her parole had been denied because she didn't deserve it and still doesn't deserve it because of what she did. No, she got denied parole again, and instead of just accepting it, she decided to take legal action against it and fight it. Yeah, that's someone who has really, really accepted, like, the consequences of their actions. That's really someone who realizes the gravity of their actions, the pain and suffering that they cause the families of these people. Yeah, that's really someone who's decided to be an adult and accept what they did. And be like, well, you know what, this sucks, but hey, you know what, I did what I did, and I can't blame them for denying me parole because what I did is unforgivable. That's what someone who has truly reflected and who's truly sorry for their actions, in my opinion, would have done. But no, she proceeded to fight it, to take legal action, because she was denied parole for brutally savagely taking part in the murder of Rosemary LaBianca and Lena LaBianca, who did nothing. No one deserves what they got. No one deserves that. I mean, what did the LaBiancas do? They just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And what was the wrong place? Their own home. And they got murdered just because. No reason at all. Savagely. But Leslie thought that she deserved parole, and it was unfair that she was denied parole. You know. So, obviously, I think this is bullshit. They all deserve to remain in prison for the rest of their lives. You know, luckily, I don't think that Tex Watson is ever going to get out, because it's undisputed. You know, and the other members, the three women who took part would try to, you know, pass off blame on Tex Watson. They try to blame it all on Tex Watson, even though they would always try to say they didn't actually have that much to do with the killings, when they obviously did. They're just fucking lying to make themselves look better. But, I mean, Tex Watson, I don't think will ever get out, just because of, you know, how involved he was. Same thing with Patricia Krenwinkel. I don't think that she'll ever get out either, because she was involved in both nights of murder. And particularly the way that she murdered Abigail Folger was pretty gruesome and heinous. So I don't think that she'll ever get out. And in a way, it's even though I think it's bullshit, and even I'm kind of surprised that it happened, because of what the ramifications would be. But I can't say that I'm totally shocked, because it was said for years and years and years that the person that would most likely get paroled out of all of them would have been Leslie Van Houten. I'm guessing because maybe she was involved in both nights of murder, and because there are claims that she stabbed Rosemary LaBianca when she was already dead. But even if that is the case, it doesn't change the fact that Leslie Van Houten wanted to go that night. She wanted to go out with them that night because she was disappointed that she couldn't go the first night. And, you know, even if she did go there and supposedly have a change of heart right then and there, I don't believe that she did. I think that it's very convenient that she says that she did after she was arrested and put in prison and given a life sentence. But let's say that's the case. She did nothing. She did nothing to stop these killings. She could have done something. Yeah, sure, maybe she maybe would have been overpowered if she had tried to do something, or maybe she would have been killed too in the process, but she could have tried to do something to stop it, and she didn't. She went along with it, and then proceeded to stab Rosemary LaBianca's body 14 times, alive or dead. And then they proceeded to mutilate her. So, she did nothing. But yet she gets the chance, she gets to have parole, and she gets the chance to live out however many years she has left, I guess in peace or whatever. You know, she helped take 2 lives against their will prematurely for no reason at all. But yet she gets to go out now and live life, I guess. You know, and I mean, really, that's the only silver lining. That's the only silver lining in all this, is that she was caught and arrested for the crime in 1969 when it was committed, and she was convicted, I believe, and sentenced in like 1970 or 71, one of the two. But regardless, you know, she was 19, 20 when she was caught. And 54 years have passed, and now she's, I believe, 74 years old. So the only silver lining in all of this, the only positive thing that you can sort of get out of this, is the fact that the vast majority of her life was lived, you know, in prison. You know, and now she's going to be released, but it almost doesn't even really matter, because look at how the world was in 1969, and look how the world is now. She's going to be lost. Completely lost. And I'm sure that I'm not the only one that thinks this is total bullshit. So she's probably gonna be looking over her shoulder for however long she has left. You know. So, ultimately, just to kind of sum up the point, it's not about whether Leslie Van Houten is actually rehabilitated or not. It's not about that at all. The whole reason she was put in prison in the first place was because of the crimes that she committed. Why she was given a life sentence to begin with was because of the crime that she committed. Why she was given the death sentence initially was because of the crime she committed. It's not about, we're going to put this person in prison for brutally murdering these people, but then when we say that they're rehabilitated, then they get out. No, it's punishment for the crime committed. That's why they get life in prison. You took someone else's life away like that, well, you know what? Your life's going to be taken away, not in the same fashion, but you're not going to be able to live your life freely because of that. Because you took someone else's life for no reason at all. No reason. So, it's not about the rehabilitation. It's about punishment for the crime. That's what it should be about. So, that's all I got for this one. I also figured it was fitting because I've been doing that. I was doing that book reading from Tex Watson's book, which I'll try to get back to at some point because, this kind of makes me definitely want to get back into doing that reading series. But anyways, you guys have a good day, evening, whatever. Peace. Yeah, that's about it.